What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I'm going to show you how to fly with the Elytra and share a couple of tips and tricks and things I've learned about how to get elevation, how not to hurt yourself, how to shoot yourself with a bow, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you haven't seen it already, you can go check the link in the top right of the video. Click that button, you can get taken over to a tutorial about how to get super high up, super quick to deploy your Elytra on Console Edition. But anyway, let's get right into the video. Start off with the first tips and trick of the day, and that is make sure to repair your Elytra, guys. It'll break on you and you will be a sad-faced porcupine. So that's the first tip and trick of the day, and you can do that with the anvil and some leather. Let me show you real quick, just in case you haven't seen it. Pretty simple stuff, but I figured I would throw this in right at the beginning, and I don't have enough levels. But if you did, that's how you do it. Anyway, let's get on to tip number 2. So guys, let's start this right off and get this over with. How do you shoot yourself with a bow, you might ask? Well, there's a couple different methods. You can do it on flat ground if you're quick enough with your timing. And one of the ways that I can describe it to you, I described it a little bit in that other video that I told you to go watch, and I'll try and do that again here, in this video, and this is about the best I can do. So if you were to break this block about 90%, about 60 to 90%, so it's not all the way broken, and it's almost broken, that's about the amount of time that it takes you to draw your bow and to let it go and to have it hit you when you're in the air. Just around that kind of time. So just try and think about that. Try and think about not much longer than the amount of time it would take you to break a leaf block. Anyway, that's the first little tip I got for you as far as how to shoot yourself with the bow. The other part of it is that, let's go and launch here so you can see what's going on. You see this line right here in the horizon where the sky is blue and then it turns to gray and then there's the water? You want to look about halfway down that, somewhere along in there. You want to look towards the horizon. Sometimes a little bit farther down, sometimes a little higher up, depending on how fast you're going. But that's the first little tip about, or the second little tip about how to hit yourself, is you want to be sure you're just looking forward. And you want to make sure that you got that timing down, thinking about not quite breaking a leaf block with your fists. And that's the best bit of advice that I can give you about how to hit yourself with the bow in Minecraft Survival. And remember, guys, it's got to have punch 2 on it. I like to put unbreaking 3, of course, and infinity, so you can just go forever with one arrow. And yeah, that's basically that. So let's go on to tip number 3-ish. Okay guys, so we just had a near emergency and we're low on health, but we want to keep flying without eating, and so what you can do is you can actually shoot yourself with tipped arrows if you really felt like it. You can see I just regen my whole health bar there with a few arrows, and so I figured I would add this in here when we're talking about hitting yourself with the bow. You can use health arrows. I've tried regen arrows as well, but there's not much of a difference between that and food. So if you can hit yourself with a regen arrow, you might as well just try and hit yourself with a golden carrot, you know what I mean? Because that'll do a lot more for you than a regen arrow. Whoops. So you can see here, it's hard to hit, but when you do hit, you gain about 3 or 4 health hearts back. So it's pretty good for you as far as keeping you alive. It can come in handy. I would recommend keeping it on your hotbar just in case you want to keep flying, you're getting way too low, and you want to be able to gain altitude, you're really hungry, you've taken damage, all of those things together, it could be handy. But as far as everyday use, I just use regular arrows. So anyway, let's move on to the next tip. So I've lost track of tip number, but it doesn't matter. This is probably the most important for you if you want to know how to get altitude. So if you're hitting yourself over and over again with the bow, and you just can't get altitude, you can't figure it out, you might be doing something wrong with your angle of the dangle, the way you're looking. And so the way that I like to do it is every time you hit yourself, you want to look up about that bar. So not too far, and not not as far. You want to go just the right amount to where you're looking up right after you hit yourself, and you can see that you gain quite a bit of altitude every time we do that. Let's go into this other mode. You might be able to see it a little better. So while you have your momentum, if you use that momentum to go vertically, that's how you can fly for a really long amount of time. So the second part that comes into this, the second part of this tip is, once you know how to get super high up, you can actually fly for some time without using the punch bow by doing these big parabolic arcs. So what a parabolic arc is it's going slowly towards the ground and slowly arcing back up towards the atmosphere and back and forth. you can actually build up momentum and speed and go for really long ways if you're doing this gradually without using the arrow. So that's going to be another tip for you guys, is to make sure to feather that control to where you get a nice big swooping motion and go up, and then right when you're about to stop, look back down again and rinse and repeat. And check this out, guys, we've been flying for a while now and we haven't ran out of momentum. We're slowly getting lower and lower to the ground, but if we can hit ourselves a couple times with these arrows, can look upwards, you can see we can pretty much do this forever. This would be infinite flight. You can go and explore your world and do all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, alright guys, so the next part of it, the next tip for you, one of the last ones, is arguably the most important, but probably the most obvious and self-explanatory and simple, and that's how to land. So you build up quite a bit of speed in these Elytra wings. You're doing all kinds of crazy maneuvers and aerial left and rights, and you want to be able to land on a specific spot. So maybe we'll pick the top of a tree or something like that to show you. But the basic concept is that there's two methods on how to stop yourself in the Elytra. And the first would be to just look straight up and fall right where you stopped, looking horizontally. And that's one method, but you tend to take a lot of damage unless you're really good at it and you're able to stop right close to the ground. So the other method, the one that I seem to be using quite a bit lately, we can go, oh, almost made it, is to do a quick little turnaround. You see that? So this is definitely the method I think you guys are going to want to go with. Let's get some more altitude so we can show you that again. Let's even go from right up here. And so what's going to happen here is when you're turning, you're going to do some barrel rolls and you're going to lose all your momentum. And you're basically just going to be doing the same thing as you were if you look straight up, but you're not going to fall. You're going to kind of hover. So let's show you this one more time. Oh, let's try it over here, actually. All right. Try and make it. So you see that? When you're turning, you just glide slowly down to the ground. So that's pretty much the last tip for you guys about how to not take damage. So guys, I think that's going to have to do it for me for today. That's all the tips and tricks I got for you at the moment. I figured I'd start off super small and simple just so you can get the basics down, because I know that a lot of you are learning for the first time at the moment about how to use this bow, how to fly, all the crazy stuff. I've had a lot of fun making these videos today. Let me know if you did too. Leave a like or something like that. Sub it if you love it. You know what to do. Anyway guys, until next video, you can go check out 3 different methods on how to launch the Elytra if you haven't already. That's going to do it for me for today. I hope you have a really good day. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.